If you're not training hybrid, you're losing out on a lot of potential. So here's why you should be training hybrid in 2025. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jordan Devoda. I'm a 20-year-old hybrid athlete. Being a high-level athlete my whole entire life, working with Olympic-level coaches, as well as skiing and water polo at a professional level, this is what I've learned over the past decade of training. What a year 2024 has been. It's been a phenomenal year for the fitness industry. It's been a phenomenal year for me as well. I completed 2 Ironmans this year. I'm working towards a 100-miler and a marathon leading into 2025. And I'm not sure what else is to come, but I'm going to be prepared and I'm going to be training hybrid. I got into sports at a really young age. I was on the skis at the age of 3, raced at a professional level. I also played water polo for over a decade, was working with Olympic level athletes, as well as played on an international level. I've also been bodybuilding for 6 years, recreational and fun. I'm not a bodybuilder, but I've been doing bodybuilding style movements, as well as some powerlifting in there. And this is what I've learned in the past decade of training. So moving into 2025, I feel like 2024 was the boom of hybrid training, and a lot of that boom is moving into this new year. Just the other day, I saw CBum, Chris Bumstead, post a YouTube video with the title Hybrid Athlete, which is insane to see because this guy is a 6-time Mr. Olympia, also Canadian as well. And seeing him have that in a title kind of just blows my mind away, because I feel like at the beginning of 2024, people kind of looked at hybrid training as this kind of joke or trend. And now we have one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time hopping on the wave. So I think that says something. The thing is, with most people, they are not professional athletes. Most people out there have a job they have to go to, they have a family, they have other things in their life that they're also focused on. And if we could all just niche down into one specific sport and become a pro at it and something that we really enjoyed, I mean, why not? I think we would all do it. But the reason why people are so drawn towards hybrid training is because it takes the functions of being an athlete, the functions of having athletic movements, running, swimming, biking, doesn't matter what sport you play, but it also combines the strength and conditioning that comes with bodybuilding, powerlifting, and physique goals, which is why people are so drawn to this trend. Single discipline training is phenomenal and amazing if you're really invested into that sport, but cross training is going to be super important, which is why I like that term cross training a lot better than just the term hybrid training. So this goes into my first point on why you should be hybrid training in 2025. I like the term cross training a lot more than hybrid training. I feel like hybrid training is super niche specific. Cross training to me sounds a lot more broad. It sounds a lot better. For me personally, I like to ski quite consistently. It's been a month. I already have 15 days on the hill, and I would consider that cross training. So combining my running for my ultra, combining my skiing that I'm doing recreationally, as well as my bodybuilding and powerlifting, that's more of a cross training thing for me. So waking up in the morning, going for a run, going for a ski, and then lifting in the evening, I tend to look at cross training because I'm cross training between 2 events. The reason why you want to cross train is because not only is the one discipline you're training for going to most likely complement the other discipline, it's also going to allow you to have 2 goals to work towards, so you're not tied down to one specific thing. If you just hit the gym and your upper body is sore and tired and you need to rest the next day, but you still want to work out, well, you could go for a run, you could go play tennis, you could go do the other sport that you're going to be cross training for. And most of the time, what you're doing is going to translate over. Cross training has been done for years. We've seen Michael Jordan in the gym, lifting weights, pumping iron. We see new high-level college athletes doing plyometrics training in the gym. They're cross training for their sports. And it's not something that we have just recently been doing. It's been something we've been doing for decades. It has just been rebranded as hybrid training. So this leads on to my second point as to why you should be hybrid training in 2025, and that is injury prevention. So oftentimes we see certain athletes in certain events getting injured because they lack the strength that they need to, or we see bodybuilders or powerlifters get injured because they lack the mobility and endurance to do what they need to do, and their body can't handle the load. So lifting in the gym is going to go hand in hand with your endurance goals. Your endurance goals are going to go hand in hand with your lifting goals given the fact that you're not super niche specific. So combining two sports, combining the ability to increase your endurance is not only going to help with your aerobic capacity and your cardiovascular system, it's also going to help you possibly live a longer life. And the heart is also a muscle. We want to strengthen that. And just by lifting weights in the gym, you're not really straining your cardiovascular system too much. Sure, you're putting some fatigue on your CNS, which is good. But at the same time, your heart isn't typically pumping super hard. So combining a 30-minute run with weightlifting is just going to help you become an overall better athlete and help you hit certain markers a lot easier. Also, training multiple systems helps balance the body out. You know, being able to bench 315 is cool, but if you don't look like you bench 315 and you're just big dude, you really have no use for that strength, and only in super niche specific areas. However, you kind of want to look the way you perform as well. At least I do. And by running quite consistently, cross training quite consistently, swimming, biking, and training for endurance goals, it helps me eat a lot more, but also stay lean because I'm burning more calories throughout the day. Which moves on to my third point and why you should hybrid train in 2025. People want to look good, they want to feel good, and they also want to perform. So going out and consistently running is going to make you feel better. You're going to get a runner's high. You're going to get this type of clarity that you've never felt before just from lifting weights. Often find when I'm lifting weights, I get an insane amount of brain fog depending on how hard I push myself that session. And that's going to help with muscle growth. But at the same time, I also want to feel good throughout my day. So starting my mornings with a run has helped immensely with mental clarity and my work production throughout the day, as opposed to starting it with a lift. And then as my day goes on, I start to replenish or start to eat more. I then hit the weights, typically closer to bed, but not too far away, so I don't have a bad sleep. And I can kind of just relax a little bit once my day's over and the mental fatigue from lifting heavy weights has kind of set in. In my opinion, aesthetics plus performance equals the ultimate combo. I want to look good, I want to feel good, and I want to perform well. So being able to look good, feel good about my body, have an aesthetic physique, but also being able to perform, run, go on hikes, and not just feel like I'm some big block has helped a significant amount. And my strength has also translated into other areas of my life as well, especially carrying the groceries. I know my mom loves it when I help her with that. But all jokes aside, in other areas of life, being strong has also helped me live a healthier lifestyle as well too, which is a huge part in my routine. I'm always making sure to hit the weights, not just run, because I want to build up a strong body. A strong body is a strong mind, and all of that translates into the two disciplines or multiple that you're going to be hybrid or cross training for. So if I've convinced you to train hybrid, here is how you can start. First things first, write down on a piece of paper, are you strength or are you endurance orientated? One of the two. To start, you're going to want to assess a base fitness line. So what I would do is grab yourself a watch. I'm using the Garmin Fenix 6. Grab an Apple Watch. If you can't afford any of that, you can download a running app on your phone. I highly recommend you get a heart rate tracker. This is going to help really dial in and prevent injury, making sure you're not fatiguing yourself too hard. Start with a basic 2-kilometer run. See how fast your pace is, see your heart rate. A typical good metric to use is the MAF method. Basically, you subtract your age by 180 and you don't want to exceed that as your heart rate. So I am 20 years old, subtract 20 off of 180, that's 160. Never want to exceed 160. Otherwise, I'm in the threshold range, and that's when it's very taxing on my body. So try to keep your heart rate below 160. Typically, I like to run within the zone 2 category, so I'm not putting a lot of fatigue on my body and I can train for the rest of the day. That lies for me between 135 and 130 beats per minute. So once you've assessed your baseline for running, you're then going to want to see how you can structure your day with lifting. So for example, day 1, I would lift, day 2, I would run, day 3, I would rest. See how your body is responding and build off of that. Repeat that cycle until you can kind of withstand more load. and then move into training twice a day. So after you've done that for about 2 weeks or so, you've kind of lift, ran, included some rest days in there as well. I would then look to run in the morning and lift in the afternoon, then rest the next day and see how your body responds, and slowly incorporate the dual training days, longer runs, and more strenuous exercises until your body can take the fatigue and load. Huge thing that you guys need to make sure you're on top of if you're going to be doing something like this, and that is nutrition. Electrolytes, carbohydrates are super important. I have a carbohydrate powder from Raw Nutrition. I typically take 2 scoops of that before any run that's over 45 minutes. If it's 30 minutes or less, I'll take 1 scoop. 1 scoop is 25 grams of carbs, 2 scoops is 50 grams of carbs. The general rule is you want around 60 to 80 grams of carbs every hour, as well as replenishing with around 1,000 milligrams of sodium within that exercise. If you're training for a long run, a long bike, and it's 2 to 3 hours, you need to make sure you're getting your carbs and sodium to prevent cramping and to prevent bonking so you can perform the whole way through with a sustained amount of energy. Today, I went for a swim and I didn't have enough carbs and sodium in my body. I was doing a sprint session and my hamstring cramped like crazy towards the end because I was just lacking the proper nutrition for that exact workout, and it was not good. Needless to say, that doesn't happen often, but this is why you need to be on top of your nutrition. You really need to make sure that you're prioritizing your sleep. 7 to 8 hours is what I recommend. If you have one of these watches, it can track your metrics. I usually go off of how I feel, not what the watch says, because it's only so accurate. However, using the watch does give you a good baseline as to how you have been sleeping and how much sleep you are getting. So now that you know how to train hybrid, I've given you a little bit of a basic introduction. Don't limit yourself to one sport. Take on 2, see what happens. Who knows, it might change your life. It's always important that you're pursuing goals and you're pursuing your dreams, no matter if that's fitness related, school related, work related. Have something to work towards. Always push yourself, work hard every single day, and whatever you want, those results will eventually come. But you have to be consistent in your craft, otherwise you won't achieve any of it. Same with hybrid training, same with everything else I just said. Personally, hybrid training has transformed my life. It made me feel like the athlete I once was, competing at that high level, except now I'm no longer a high level athlete. I'm just an amateur competing in these ultra endurance events and lifting as heavy as I can to really physically challenge myself and share the journey with you guys. Now, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to leave a link in the description. You can get coached by me. My apparel sponsor, Rise, is going to be in the description as well. You can use my code Jordan at checkout, save yourself some money there if you want to get some discounts on your endurance supplements. Because you're now a hybrid athlete, you can use my code Jordan at checkout for Raw Nutrition. My 90-day hybrid program is also going to be linked in the description below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.